Good day, I'm Richard from Pleasureway Industries, and today we're going to be talking about the Plateau units, including the FL and the TS. We've combined the walkthrough on these units because they're very similar, but there are a few differences on the FL model, and we're going to start by showing you those. So as I said, we're going to start with the FL, and that stands for front lounge. So we're going to talk about the front lounge, which is the difference in it. And we have, first of all, a secondary place to mount our table so that we can use our front cabin chairs as a dining or office space here. And behind the table, we've got an outlet and a USB port so we can plug in our devices there. And then, of course, we've got our secondary television here, which allows us to watch TV, hook up our laptop, whatever we want to do here. Above that is where our controls on this unit are for our Winegard antenna system. So this runs the front and the rear TV in this unit as well. Now, the next thing that's different is the bathroom. So we'll open up our bathroom here. The bathroom's a little bit smaller, no cabinet underneath the sink and no outlet here. A little bit different configuration, but all the same amenities here. Another little difference is inside this closet is where the microwave and induction cooktop GFIs are. They're mounted in here, as well as your plugins for your TV, your Blu-ray player, and your soundbar in the back of the unit. Okay, so now the last major difference is the fridge. The TS model comes with a three-way RV fridge, whereas this comes with a 12-volt compressor fridge. Very basic, just turn it on, adjust your temperature, and this will cool down in about 30 minutes. Since this is a compressor model, like I said, there is no venting on the outside of the unit that the TS has, so you don't have to worry about any exterior access on the outside of this fridge. Okay, beside the fridge, we also have a roll-out pantry. So we just pop it open and it pulls out and gives you a nice place for storage for some of your canned goods and such. And just pushes back in and locks for travel. All right, so all the rest of the appliances and such are in the same location as on the TS model. So that completes our tour of the FL. Now we'll move to the outside and finish our walkthrough on the outside of the TS model. All right, so right here at the driver's door, the first thing we're going to talk about is gas fill, just mainly because the diesel actually, like I said, is sort of hidden behind the driver's door here. So you actually have to open the driver's door in order to get access to that. All right, so now let's move on to some of the other components. The first compartment we've got here is our exterior shower. Now this is just a hot and cold tap with about a 3-foot hose that pulls out. It's got a little stand that we can put it in so that we can have it sitting while we're soaping up or, like I said, helping the kids get cleaned or whatever. Like I said, there is a shutoff. It is not a positive shutoff, so if you've got water running and you flick that over, you will get a little bit of water leaking, but it will shut off the main pressure so you don't waste a lot of water while you're soaping up or getting somebody ready, but it will keep your temperature set where you had it. All right, so now the one thing we want to remember though is because this is on the outside of the unit, you want to make sure that when you're winterizing the unit, that when you're pumping the antifreeze through your system, you come out here, open this up, and run each tap separately until you have pink antifreeze flowing through this system. All right, and then you just close it up and lock it up for travel. Now next we have our utility center. It's got a little own access door holder there. And like I said, it's got a few things inside. Starting in the top left-hand corner, we have our propane valve. So this is an electronic valve. You don't have to get onto the unit to open up your propane. All you have to do is flick this little switch. As long as your main battery switch is on inside the unit, that will open up the valve and allow the gas to flow and allow you to start using your propane appliances. When you get to a gas station, you want to make sure that you shut this off and make sure that all your propane appliances are off inside the unit. When this is off, like I said, there is still propane in the lines, and if you forget to turn off an appliance, it could possibly try to ignite while you're in a service station, so please try to remember that. All right, now below that we have our city water connection. This allows us to connect a garden hose directly to the unit. Then we don't need our pump or our fresh tank to have a water supply inside the van. So this will pressure up just like your house would. Now it's sending water to all your taps, your sinks, your showers, your toilet and such. Like I said, one thing I suggest is if you're at a campground you don't know, is to get yourself a pressure regulator. It'll go, just screws right in there with your line, and that will keep the pressure down under about 65 psi, and that will help protect all your water lines. Some campgrounds have some really high pressure depending on where you're sitting, and you want to make sure that stays down to protect your water system inside your unit. Now the next thing with this is when we're winterizing, again, like I said, after we've started running antifreeze and through everything, this is one of the last things we do. We turn off the pump, release the pressure from the system. We take this little screen filter out, and inside here is a little push valve that we push, and it'll allow the antifreeze to flow back out through here, making sure that your city water valve is winterized. And then you just push that valve back in, put the cover on, and you're ready for the winter. Now beside that, we have a cable or coaxial input into the unit. This allows you to hook up to a portable satellite dish or a cable TV connection, and this is run directly to your television inside the unit so that you can get that signal inside in there. Now next, we have our 110 30 amp plug. Now your unit will come with a cord like this, and this is a little end here, and it's got 3 little slots, one with a little notch on it, so which matches the little notches in there. So you can just slide that in, if we can line it up, like that, and then give it a quarter turn, and then this outside collar just twists around and locks it in place so that this is solid for when you're camping. Somebody doesn't trip on your cord and unplug you while you're not there, or while they're walking around your unit. There's a little LED light to let you know that there's power coming from the pole or wherever you're plugged into, to make sure that you know that the power is getting to this point at least. That way, if you're ever having problems with electrical inside, you can already tell that you've got power at this point, and it may be something inside the van. And then you need to talk to us and see if we can help you out with that. Before we go any further, I'm going to go down to the floor here. Right on the bottom here, we have our access to our sewer system. Oh, I already had it open. So it's got a little handle here as well. And we've got a 3-inch cap here. It just gives a turn. Open this up, and then we hook up our sewer hose to this, and then we've got gray water and black water. Black water being our toilet, gray water being our sinks and showers inside the unit here. These open up to drain your tanks inside your unit. We open up the little cap here, and we pull out our sewer hose. Now there are actually 2 sewer hoses in here, like I said, and they just connect together like so. Like I said, right now I'm just going to show you one, and it just goes onto the end and locks in place, and then this runs out and goes into the sewer drain, either at the edge of the campground, or if you've got full service, into your drain at your campsite itself. Like I said, in your package you will get little caps that can go on here to seal these up so that you don't get any smell and stuff from them. And also, like I said, there is an adapter that goes into the sewer drain, like I said, and seals that as well, so you don't get any splashback as well when you're draining the system. All right, and then you just make sure you put all this back inside your compartment. I always suggest getting some disposable plastic gloves when we're working with this, because of course it's sewer and you don't want to get that all over your place. So yeah, and then this just disconnects, slides back in. I always suggest starting with draining your black tank when you're going to drain your system. Like I said, of course, that's solid waste, and like I said, it'll come out. And then your gray tank is, of course, soapy water, soapy, dirty water, and that'll help wash out your hose as well, make it easier to put this stuff away when you're done. All right, so next we're going to move on to the water heater here. Like I said, so it just has a little turn handle. The main door has a couple of straps to hold it in place. And like I said, your water heater's main access here is right on the front. On the right-hand side, we have an on-off switch. You'll notice it shows on, up, or down. It really makes no difference. Like I said, whichever way you turn it. Once you turn it on, a little green light will come on to let you know that the unit now has power. So once you do that, all the rest of the controls are done from inside the unit with the monitor panel. And we'll show you that when we get inside the unit. The only other thing you have to watch here is for for draining the system. Like I said, in winter, like I said, I turn off the pump, drain the system down, pop the pressure relief valve here. Like I said, you'll get some water coming out of here to let you know that the pressure's gone down completely. And then you just pull this handle, it drops down. Normally there's a filter in here that will pop out. Like I said, you just pop it out. I keep it inside the unit for the winter, and all the excess water, which is about 1.5 liters, will drain out through the front of this unit. And then for summer, you just reverse it, stick that valve in, close it up, lock it in place, make sure that's in the down position, turn it on, and you can go inside and unwinterize it, the valves, which again we'll show you when we get inside. And like I said, start pumping water through your system. And that's it for the exterior of your water heater. All right, and then again, this just slides back into place and locks up for travel. Now beside that, we have your furnace duct. Like I said, this is just where the heat comes out. The only reason I even mention it really is just to make sure that you don't have anything blocking it, and to make sure that when it's running that you're not touching this, because this gets extremely hot. Now the next thing we've got is our exterior of our fridge. Now this is really supposed to be maintenance for us, or for access for service work. Like I said, if we need to get in here and if you've got any problems. The only other thing that you might want to get into here for is just to get any dirt and dust in here that collects. Of course, this door is vented, so you're going to get a little bit of dirt and dust in there. And what might cause some problems is just some of that excess dirt getting in where the burner is if you're using the propane and such. So you may want to just blow out any of the dirt and dust that accumulates inside here. And to make sure that, you know, birds or bees and stuff haven't built up anything, and that you've got good airflow going up through here and out through the top vent. All right, so that's it for the outside of the fridge. Like I said, most of this, like I said, again, will be controlled from the inside of the unit, and we'll show you that when we get inside. Okay, so we're under the back driver's side rear tire. Just behind here, we have access to our generator. So we've got a little lock here that just gives a quarter turn, and then this little door will pull off. Like I said, what that allows you to get at is on the bottom right-hand corner here, there is a switch for turning this unit, manually turning it on and off. And then right below the switch, there is a breaker. In the up position, it's on. In the down position, it's just a switch. Like I said, in the down position, it's off. So if you're having problems, you're running your generator or not getting any power, this is where you want to come check. Right here in this bottom right-hand corner, that little switch may be the only problem you're having. Behind the generator is also where the propane tank is, so we can get access there. And then when we back out on the back corner of the unit here, we have access where our propane fill is on the unit. Okay, so on our bottom back corner, like I said, we have our propane fill. Like I said, so when you pull up to a service station, like I said, again, like I was mentioning with the at the front there, you want to make sure your valve is off. You want to make sure all your appliances are shut off when you come to fill. Like I said, when you pull up, their certified techs will come out and do this. You have to have a certification in order to fill this. You can't do it yourself. And they'll come out and they'll open the bleeder valve and they'll hook up their line. And like I said, once they see a little bit of propane coming, or liquid propane coming out there, they know the tank is full. They shut that off, turn off their pump, and like I said, put your cap back on. That's the only thing I would recommend, is just double check to make sure that the technician has put the cap back on before leaving the service station. And then on the left-hand side of this, we have access for a BBQ Quick Connect. So this is just like an air hose system. You just put your hose in there, and then there's a little valve on the side that opens up and allows the gas to flow when you've got your propane and barbecue or whatever connected to this system. This is a regulated source, so you want to make sure you have a barbecue that does not have a regulator built into it. Otherwise your pressure will be too low to light. And then again, a little protective cap that goes on there to help keep the dirt and dust out of that, so that it's all ready to go for the next time you need to use it. Okay, so now we're on the back of the unit, and a couple things we're going to point out is on the top of the unit, of course, we've got your backup camera. Like I said, this is connected into your front dash stereo system. So as soon as you put the unit in reverse, that camera will come on and give you a really good view of behind here. One of the other really cool features of this is along the back, you'll see these little black dots. Like I said, they're mounted around the front and around the back, and some, I think there's actually even some down the side. And these are sensors to let you know, proximity sensors. So as you're backing up, if you're getting close, a little view of your unit will come up on there and will give you, like I said, a yellow light when you're getting close, and then orange, and then red when you're almost on it. And will start beeping to let you know when you're getting really close. Really nice for backing into sites and stuff like that, if you may not have noticed a log or something that's in your way along the back edge of your unit. Now below that, of course, we've got your hitch. This allows you to hook up either a small trailer to take with you, or even, like I said, one thing we do a lot is portable storage boxes that slide in there, hook into your electrical, and they've got lights and stuff on them so that you can have extra storage to take stuff with you. Now, next we're going to go inside the unit here. We'll just open up the doors. Like so. They do push all the way past so that you can have lots of access to this back. So now we've got into our back storage area. And like I said, under our couch in the back, like I said, we've got access for our batteries. Like I said, this little front door just pops off. It's magnetic connected. Like I said, and then we have access to our batteries here on the back of the unit. So we're going to talk about your batteries in the unit. Your unit comes with 200 amp hour lithium ion batteries. Now, to charge these batteries, there are 4 sources in this unit. First of all, your alternator. When you're running your vehicle, the alternator sends a charge back to charge the batteries. Second source would be your shore power. When you have the unit plugged in, shore power comes in, runs through your inverter and charges your battery system that way. Then your generator is another source, creates the power, again, goes through your inverter and charges your battery system. And then your last source would be your solar system, which has its own charge controller. The power comes down through it, through your charge controller, to charge the batteries in the back. Okay, just a note about your charge system. None of those charge systems will charge your chassis battery. It will only be charged by your alternator when your vehicle is running. So one component of your charging system is a master volt charger. It is mounted in the rear by your batteries, and what it does is it prevents any surges of power coming from your alternator into the lithium ion batteries, just to make sure that it's got steady charge going into those batteries, just as a prevention method. When we're charging these batteries, there's a couple things we want to remember. First of all is that they need to be above freezing temperature in order for them to charge properly. This is 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit. The way to check that is on your monitors in the unit, there is a little temperature gauge with a thermistor on the batteries letting you know what temperature the batteries are at. So make sure you have that above that temperature before you start charging your system. So your batteries can discharge when the temperature is below 0, but you just want to make sure that before you start sending a charge into a battery that it gets above that 0 temperature. Now, when you're charging your battery up, the batteries include a charge management system. What this does is it protects it from overcharging. So when your battery gets to 100%, it will not accept a charge anymore. Like I said, it stops, protects the batteries, and prevents it from charging. So when your battery's at 100%, you can still you can plug in your unit or run the generator without worrying about having the temperature above 0, or even your solar system, because the batteries will not accept the charge and they'll be protected from that problem. So there's 2 sources to disconnect the batteries inside the unit. First being a little red button on your monitor that disconnects any 12-volt power source from drawing on your batteries. What this is used for is if you're not using your unit for an extended period of time and not running anything inside your unit, you turn off that and that will disconnect any source from drawing on your batteries, so your batteries will maintain the charge that they hold. One thing it will not do is disconnect charge coming to your batteries from your shore power or your generator. They will continue to charge. Now the second source is a key in the back that disconnects the charge sources from your batteries. So your solar and your alternator. So this means that it can disconnect it so you can run your vehicle when it's below zero, and your solar and your alternator will not try and charge the batteries when they're low. So a little tip about how to check to see if your batteries are actually trying to charge is to go to your monitor panel. There is a real-time amp draw or amp charge dial on it, and it will show whether or not it's a positive or a charge going in or a negative draw on your batteries. If you're driving, usually it'll show about a 40 amp charge from your alternator, and when you're sitting or plugged into shore power, you'll see between 55 and 65 amp input from your inverter as well. So if you're driving and you see that your real-time amp meter is not showing a charge coming from your alternator, right above the batteries there are two reset breakers that prevent any overcharge hitting the battery, high amperage output. If you've lost that charge coming from your alternator, check those two. There's one on the left and one on the right-hand side, and they're just a little reset switch on there that you can push to the side, and you'll hear it snap into place if it has tripped at some point. So on your Mercedes Sprinter chassis, your battery is not mounted under your hood, so if you ever need to boost or charge your system, like I said, you've got a red little tab here that pushes back and you can connect your charger or booster cable to the positive here, and your negative is mounted along your sidewall here. Like I said, it's a little brass connection, and you just clamp on your connection there, and that will send the charge to your battery that's under your driver's seat in the front. So that's it for batteries here. And so I'll close this up real quick. Like I said, a couple other things back here. We do have an auto transfer switch. Again, not something you really need to worry about, but just to let you know it's there. That's what automatically switches from your generator to your shore power and back in your system, so you don't have to manually change anything over. And also, you get this little tire repair kit. It comes with your unit. There's a little air compressor in there and some little goo to help patch up a tire just in case you're in the middle of somewhere where you can't get service and you need to get a tire fixed real quick to get back on the road here. All right, so now we're back up above this. Like I said, of course, we've got our couch. Like I said, we've got access for our seat belts. Like I said, which just slide in between the cushions here if we want to use like so. Just slide in there if we want to use this as seating. Now you make sure that it comes under this bar, not over this bar, because if you have it over the bar and you drop this down, it stretches too much and can cause some problems, and also the seatbelts won't work properly if they're above this. They said they're designed to be straight up, not over the bar. So just something to watch out for. Now, as we come up, like I said, right at the top here, we have access for a screen wall here on the back. Now, you just have these little clips here, and then this just slides down the back here. Now, you'll see it's got another set of clips. This is designed so that you can use this screen room when the bed is in the down position. This is pretty much where your head of your bed will be. So you can have a screen, or you can open that up and get access through there as well. And then, like I said, this allows you to still have access to any storage you've got below here. Or if you want, you can have this all the way down. These unclip, and this comes all the way down. It velcros along the bottom and then zippers down the side, and you've got a nice sealed wall here along the back to help keep bugs out and still allow you good airflow through the back of your trailer or your van. So like I said, just like that. And then again, like I said, you don't have to put these clips on. You can just unhook that and then just manually roll this all the way back up to the top. Making sure when you get to the top, this tucks in the corners, and then just clip your clips in place here like that. All right, so now we're coming down the passenger side. Right at the back here, we do have a 110 outlet. Like I said, with a couple with a weatherproof cover on it. And this allows you to hook up to power on the outside here if you need to. Now this is GFI controlled. There's a GFI plug inside that controls all your outlets on the unit. Like I said, all the kitchen ones, bathroom, bedroom, and then the outside are all controlled from that one. And it's on the Ottoman on the driver's side rear. I'll show you that when we get inside. But if you've lost power at any of these plugs, come and check that first. Give it a quick reset. Most of the time it happens because of this one. What will happen is as you're driving down the road in rain or such, like I said, water will get up inside here, get in there, and then when you plug in the unit, it shorts it out and just trips it. It takes nothing to trip those. They're a safety measure that's designed to trip really fast if there's a short of any amount. So like I said, if that happens, just make sure there's no water in there, go inside, push the reset, and you should be all set to go. All right, as we come down here, the next thing we've got is our fresh water fill. So now this allows us to have water, carry water with us. Our fresh tank is just underneath this unit here. Like I said, we'll just give this a turn. Like I said, we just hook up a garden hose, stick it inside there, and turn it on, let it go. Now on your monitor inside, you can watch the freshwater tank come up so that when it gets to full, like I said, you can shut it off, or you can just wait until it completely fills. And when it does, what will happen is you'll get water squirting back out through here to let you know that it's completely full to the top. And then take out your garden hose, put your cover back on, and then make sure you close this door all the way, because like I said, when you're open your main door, like I said, it has a possibility of catching that and causing some damage either on the door or on the side of the unit as well. So just something to watch out for. Now for winter, of course, you want to drain that tank. Like I said, so the tank is directly below this. Just underneath here, there's a valve. You just give it a quarter turn. The head will be in line with the valve and your water will just flow out onto the ground. All right, so come down to the door. Now this is an electronic door. So you want to, if you have just opened your driver's door, your unit will be awake and all it takes is one pull. Sometimes it takes two pulls and you just give it a pull and it's like an automatic switch and allows the electric door to retract. Okay, so now once that's the door, like I said, you have another screen room on the outside of this door, just like in the rear, that rolls down, allows you ventilation along the side. Now, the cool thing about this one is once you've got it in the down position, like I said, and zippered in place, this is a magnetic door opener. It's got a little catch here. You just give a pull and it'll allow you to access this without unzipping and zipping this every time. And once you let go, it just automatically returns to its place and magnetizes back in place. So now we're into just to the edge of the kitchen here. We've got our fire extinguisher just to the edge here, and then we've got our monitor just above it. And the first thing you'll see is a bright red button. This is your battery disconnect. Anytime you're not using your unit for any extended period of time, you want to shut that off. That'll keep your battery from draining down. Now, this monitor also allows us to access our awning here. Just a couple little gears there and it'll bring it over. And then we've got access for sofa, fans, and awning. We always recommend that you close your side doors and close your rear doors so that the awning has room to come out completely. So I'm just gonna pop inside and do that right now. Okay, so once you've got your awning out, you can open the door and get back out here. Like I said, the awning has these spring-loaded legs here that help hold it out. Because of that, though, there are no drop-down legs, so this is considered a sunshade awning. It's designed to be out when you're sitting out to give you shade while you're sitting underneath it here. It's not designed to protect you against rain or wind and stuff like that. So anytime you're not underneath this unit, this awning should be retracted. And like I said, anytime there's inclement weather, you want to make sure it's retracted. Like I said, this does have LED lights along the front here that are accessed from your light page on the panel. So there is one safety measure in case there is a quick gust of wind or something while you're sitting under here in the sunshine. On the rear edge of the awning fabric, there is a wind sensor that's designed when it moves about 5-10 degrees movement, it should automatically retract the awning and help save it in case of a problem. I still recommend bringing it in if you're seeing any gusts of winds coming up though. Your Pleasureway unit is equipped with two 10-inch touchscreen control panels, one in the front and one in the back. And today we're going to be going through the front one here to explain all the features that are included in it. We're going to start right on the top left-hand corner here. Like I said, we've got our climate control system with our thermostat adjustments at the top here. A little white button here that allows us to just finger touch to adjust the temperature settings. And below that we have your different modes, which allow us to go through your furnace, air conditioner, and fantastic fan. As we click on it, like I said, first we get a little snowflake saying AC. Of course, the air conditioner will kick in when the temperature gets above what the thermostat is set at. Next, we've got our furnace, Trumo furnace system. Just like your house, you turn it on, set the temperature, and once the temperature gets below what the thermostat is set at, the furnace will automatically kick in and out as necessary. The last one being your fantastic fan on the ceiling. Again, like I said, when you set the temperature, when the temperature gets above what it's set at, the fan will automatically open the lid. The fan will come on to exhaust any of the excess heat inside the unit. And then when you go back around, it shuts to the off mode, and that will turn off all three of those appliances. And then on the right hand side here, we have our fan mode. So this uses the air conditioner just to move air throughout the unit. You need 110 power to run this. First we'll have fan auto, which means it will automatically kick in when the air conditioner is turned on and needs it. Or if you just want to run the fan itself, you turn that on, and there's a fan low and fan high mode, which will allow you to run just the fan on the air conditioner just to move air. Below that we have some lighting options here. These are quick access light controls. Allows us to turn on our porch light, our entry light just inside the door, our awning light, and then the backlight for the whole screen, so that you can turn that off so that you don't get that light shining around in your unit when you're sleeping at night. So up on the top right hand side here, we've got our DC power source, and tells us how much battery life we've got. So right now we've got about 61%. The batteries are at 67 degrees Fahrenheit, so great for charging. And we've got 13.7 volts going into the battery, because right now we're at positive 59 amps. So the shore power is sending power through the inverter to charge the batteries right now at that power source. So we can see right here below it in AC source that we are in shore power. As we switch through the sources, if we unplug the unit and turn on our inverter, this will show inverter power. And then again, like I said, if we were to run the generator, it would show generator here as well. So right in the center here, we have the generator. Little lightning bolt here lets you know that it's stopped right now with a cross through it. When it started, this will light up, that little cross will go away, and this will light up blue. All you have to do is hold down the start button. You'll hear the generator start to turn over. Once you hear it catch, then you can release the start button and the generator should start up. The power will, at about 15 seconds, the transfer switch will switch over, and you will see that the source will go from either inverter or from nothing to generator, just to let you know that the generator is running and now you have a power source. Now below that we have our water heater. Click on it. Once you do that, it'll switch over to the Truma AquaGo screen. Now this allows you to choose two different modes, Eco or Comfort. Eco being just a mode that allows it to use the minimum amount of gas just to keep it warm. Like I said, so it makes it easier to heat up your water heater once you get to the campground. And in comfort mode being the main mode you'd use to get your constant supply of hot water. So like I said, you click on one of those, it'll turn on, and then you can adjust your temperature that will be coming out of your taps. Standard at 107 degrees Fahrenheit, which is a pretty hot temperature. So most people just leave it right in there. And then you just push the OK button and the water heater will turn on, and it will start going through its cycle. It'll start heating the water, sending water out to the taps, so that when you turn on the taps, you'll have hot water immediately. I'm going to shut that off right now since we're not going to be using it. We just hit the off button and then OK, and that'll turn it back off. Now beside that is your water pump. Like I said, this is if you're using water from your fresh tank. You just turn that on, like I said, the little blue light will come on again. Your pump will draw water from your fresh tank. Once it's pressured up to about 50 psi, it will shut itself off. And then when you ask for water, the pump will kick back on and give you a constant water supply, and then shut back off when you turn off the source, and it pressures back up. Now, speaking of your different water sources, right here on the far right-hand side, we've got our 3 different water sources, our fresh tank, so that we can carry water with us, sometimes it's called the potable water, and then our gray water, which is our tank for our waste water from our sink, our shower, and our bathroom sinks, and then your black tank, which of course is your toilet, where your wastewater goes in. So right now they're all empty, so we'll say 0%. As you fill up your fresh tank, it'll go from 25, 50, 75, and 100. And of course, as you're using it, it'll slowly drop. And then the gray and the black's the opposite way around. As you're using your sinks and toilet, the water lines will go up from 25, 50, 75, and then up to 100%. And you'll know it's time to empty them out completely. I recommend not draining the gray or the black until they're at the 50 to 75% mark. Otherwise, you won't have enough moisture in there to move any, especially in the black tank, to move any of the solid waste out of the line as well. Now, on the very, very bottom of that, we do have one more tank, and that is your propane tank. So right now it's empty. There's a little bit of pressure in there, just residual pressure from the tank. But when you go to a service station and fill it up, this will go all the way up to 100%. And then, like I said, as you use it, again, it will slowly move its way down, letting you know that when it's time to go and fill it up. All right, let's move on to the next screen. Your next screen is your lighting screen, your master lighting. So as you see, like I said, some of these are blue and a couple are gray. All the ones that are blue are on. You can turn them on and off individually just by clicking on them. And then you can turn them all off by using your master switch on the bottom here. That will turn those on, all except for these 2 middle. The reason why is those are our exterior lights, so we don't want to have them on all the time. So like I said, we've got our porch light, which is usually just outside the entry here, and then our awning, which is on the awning's front bar. Again, you can just turn it on and off, and you'll see the blue light to let you know that that light is on. On a few of these, you'll see that there's a little slider bar on them. What this allows you to do is to dim that individual light. So you just hold it down, and you can slide that little white ball back and forth, and it will dim that section. And you can set each one individually, and then again, just turn all of them off, and when you turn them back on, they'll go back to your preset settings. Makes it nice and easy for you. Let's move to the next screen. So in the top left-hand corner, we have another DC monitor, just like the one on the main screen. It'll tell us our battery power, like I said, how much power is going in and what our system is charging at. And then below that, it'll tell us that it's charging. And then on this side, while we've got power going in, it'll tell us how much time is till it's fully charged. When we disconnect it and it's drawing, this will then tell you how much time you have left on your battery power. It's a good estimation for you just to keep track of how long your batteries will be lasting for you. Now below that, we have our solar charger button here to turn it on and off. And here it'll tell you how many volts it can supply, how much charge, and how many amps. Because we're inside a building right now, it's showing 0 amps. But if we're outside, this would go up and let you know how much sunlight is charging your system. Now you can click this little button here, and this gives you a more detailed version of what it's doing and what kind of charge it's sending into your batteries, your historical amps, how many amps your batteries had put in through your solar system, what kind of batteries, we've already set that, how many amp hours, again, we've already set that because of the batteries we put in the system. And then again, we've got another thermistor gauge here to let us know the temperature at the batteries. And again, with just some extra voltage amounts here, the maximum amount charging and the maximum amount your current it's allowing through the system, all settings that we've already preset for you. So on the top right hand side of the screen, we now have our AC power. If we're on shore power, of course, it'll tell you how many volts you're coming in through your shore power, how many amps you're drawing, and then what frequency that AC power is running. Should be around 55 to 60 hertz. If you've got outside of that range, there may be a problem with your power source. And again, if your voltage, like I said, it'll tell you at your campground whether or not you've got good power coming in. You should have in the 100 to 120 volt coming in at the campground there. Now, on the right-hand side of that same screen, we've got our energy management system. Depending on what source you're using, this will control if you're drawing too much power on your system. What it does is, if, say, you've got 30 amp and you're drawing too much power, like I said, say you're using your cooktop and your microwave and something else, what'll happen is this will automatically adjust and shut off your microwave first. Make sure that everything else continues to run, and then if it's still drawing too much power, it'll cut off your cooktop until it equalizes that power. Then once whatever the other source is that's drawing too much power, so once it's shut down, then these will slowly kick back on, cooktop first and then microwave, and restore power to those sources for you. Below that we have our AC source. Sort of like on the front, but this shows all three sources at the same time and then just sends the little blue line up to the source that we're using right now. So right now we're using our shore power. If we turn that off, it would come over to inverter because we've got the inverter on. And then if we wanted to use the generator, we turn on the generator and it would switch from inverter to generator because it considers generator the primary source. So generator will take over from inverter and give you your charge from that. Now below that we have another place to start up our generator, just like on the front screen, a start and stop button that we can manually do it. Or on the left hand side of it, we have our AGS system, or automatic generator start. What this does is allows us to set all the times and such that we want. So we can go into a manual where you can physically go in and adjust all the little things. I like to just use easy setup. It's the easiest one for most of our customers. What it does is allows it to go through and allows when you want to start the generator, whether or not you want it when the air conditioner kicks on, when the batteries get low, how low you want the batteries to get before it will start up automatically, how charged you want the batteries to get before it will shut off the generator, and then how long you want it to run. So if you've got it kicking in when your air conditioner kicks in, this lets you know that once your air conditioner gets to temperature and your air conditioner kicks off, how long you want to let the generator to keep running to keep charging up the battery after the air conditioner is kicked off. And then the bottom is anytime it starts, what's the maximum time you want it to run. So whether or not you want it charging or whether or not you want the air conditioner running, do you only want it to do it for 2 hours? Do you want it to do for 1 hour and such? So that gives you that option as well. Next, we've got our quiet time settings. So a lot of campgrounds don't allow you to run your generator during certain hours. So you can automatically set this so that your automatic generator start system will not kick in during those times. And you can set it for each individual campground if you like. Just go in and adjust before you park and it'll do it for you automatically. Then you just put finish and all of your settings are set. Then you just push the AGS button. Hold the continue button for 5 seconds. And your little AGS light will come on to let you know that all those settings you just set are ready. We're going to turn that back off so it doesn't kick in. When you do it manually, it'll give you a little notice to let you know why the generator AGS is no longer working. In this case, the user manually disabled the AGS. So that's the one you're probably going to see the most often when you shut it off manually. And then you continue and it'll go back to your main screen. All right, let's move on to the next screen. Our next screen is our mechanical screen, and it runs a few of the mechanical items on our unit. First, our fantastic fan on our right-hand side here allows us to open and close the lid electronically. And then once it's open, we can turn on the fan and we can adjust the fan speed here, at least physically. Unlike the main screen where you can do it thermostatically, this allows you to manually turn on and off your fantastic fan and just run it however you like, say for venting while you're cooking or the such, just for a short period of time. And then when you shut it down, it automatically turns off the fan and closes the lid for you. On the top left-hand corner here, we have our sofa. So this is for making your bed up. All you have to do is push the button and hold it. Like I said, you'll actually see your sofa reclining into the flat position. Once it's done, you just let go And then to retract it back into your seating position, you just hold the retract button and wait until it gets to its full retract position, and then let go once you see it get to the top. And below that we have our awning. Again, just hold the button to extend your awning. Once it gets all the way to the end, you just release. A lot of times I'll bring it all the way out and then you'll see the fabric sort of sag a little bit. So then I'll just tap the retract button just a little bit to tighten up the fabric for you. And then when you go to put it away, you push the retract button, hold it until you hear the awning click back into place. Now there is one little thing at the bottom here. If you see this is when your vehicle is running. You'll see a little red light here to let you know that your awning is locked out. What this means is your awning will not extend or retract when that button is on. So on our last page, we have sort of generic adjustments. It allows us to adjust our temperature units, whether or not we want Fahrenheit or Celsius. Allows us to adjust the backlighting on the screen. So if you find it's too hard on your eyes, you can adjust that. We've got our clock, so you can adjust it for your time zone, wherever you are. And then screen settings allows us to adjust how long the screen stays on once we're not using it, whether or not we want a dark or a light scheme, what page you want to come up automatically, whether or not you want your light page to come up or the home screen, and which lights you want on that main screen. And then below that, we've got our diagnosis. It's mainly for us to give us some idea of if there's any problems. It'll give some red lights to let you know that things aren't working. The G12 is almost like our fuse panel. It'll show little blue lights for circuits that are running right now, so living room lights and such like that. And then gray lights for ones that are off at the moment. And then if there's a problem, it'll show one of these as a red light. All you have to do is turn the main battery disconnect off, hold it for a few seconds, turn it back on, and it'll reset those switches, and you can come back and check on those. And then the DCM3 gives you some more detailed information about battery health and diagnostics with some current power flow, and again, another battery temperature setting. And then if there's any major faults, it'll come up here, and you'll also see it on the main screen. Right at the top here, you'll get a little triangle here showing you that there's a fault, and then you can go back into this and it'll give you a detailed list of what exactly is happening with the fault system. All right, so that's it for our main control panel. So now we come around into the kitchen. We're going to continue down. Of course, we've got our kitchen sink here. Underneath the edge of the counter, we have a couple more outlets here. Like I said, again, controlled by the GFI, which is in the back. We'll get to in a minute. Like I said, on the rest of the countertop, we have our induction cooktop. You need special pots and pans to use these with a solid base. So, because when you put it on here, like I said, you turn it on, it will pull the element up and allow you to turn it on. The nice thing is when it's not on, like I said, you can't do anything else with it. Like I said, if you don't have a pot on there, none of these controls will do anything. So if your kids are hitting it, it's not going to turn on unless you have a pot ready for it to go. Up in the cupboard just above the kitchen here, we have access to our inverter remote. Now, this allows us to turn the inverter on. Like I said, just a little button on the bottom right-hand corner. Like I said, and you'll see a little green light. We're plugged into shore power right now, so like I said, it's showing the top light. That gives us indicator that shore power is on. When shore power goes out, that light will move down to the center and say that your inverter is running, and now you're drawing from your batteries to run all your electrical inside your unit. What the inverter does is it takes your 12-volt power from your batteries, changes it into 110 power like your household outlets. So now you'll be able to use all your outlets, run your microwave, run your induction cooktop, run your TV and stereo system, all off your batteries. So that if you're not, say you're in Walmart parking lot or on the side of the road, you can still use all of your appliances without having the shore power or without having to run your generator. Just one little nice little feature in the system as well. All right, these doors have special locks that you just push in, and like I said, once you've got that in the down-in position, that latches these doors locked, Like I said, that's the way you want to travel so that it keeps anything from falling out while you're driving down the road. Okay, so now we're across from our kitchen with our other appliances. We've got our convection microwave, like I said, which allows you to cook like an oven in it as well. It's got a heating element. Now, like I said, it's just a basic, other than that, it's just a basic microwave. You've got an instruction manual to show you how all the extra functions on it work. Below that, we have our fridge. This is a 3-way fridge. So now this allows us to run on 110 power, propane, and 12 volt. The 12 volt only works when you're driving. Like I said, it's designed so that, like I said, you don't drain your batteries when you're using it. All you do is on the far left-hand corner, we've got the on switch. Turn it on. Normally, I just put it in auto mode. It will look for 110 power first. If it can't find it, it will try and look for 12 or propane. And if it can't find that, then it will automatically try and run on 12 volt power as well. So it's a nice little sequence there to help. So if you've lost your power and you've got propane, it'll kick in. If you're driving, like I said, it'll automatically switch over to 12 volt power because you won't have either of those sources. Like I said, beside the power button, you can go through manually and choose which mode. It'll go from auto to electric to propane to 12 volt and then back to auto. On the right hand side, we can go through the temperature settings 1 through 9. Usually 4 or 5 is about where we want to keep it. I like to do it on 5. I said that usually will keep your fridge at the right temperature. Now, this is not like a household fridge. This is what we call an absorption fridge. It is designed, it actually pulls heat out rather than creating cold. Because of that, it takes about 6 to 8 hours to get to temperature, unlike a normal fridge. So I always recommend before you're going out camping or going on a trip, start this the day before, get it cold. Like I said, make sure all the foods you're going to put in here are frozen, any of the cold from your fridge into the bottom of the fridge. That way it will run longer. Like I said, with the 12 volt, it's nice. It maintains the temperature, but it will not actually cool on 12 volt. The 12 volt is designed to just keep that temperature up while you're in transit and keep the fridge at temperature. But like I said, one of the things you want to make sure you try not to do is put anything warm in this fridge whenever possible. By doing that, it'll actually restart its cycle all over again, and it takes forever for it to get back up to that temperature you had it at. So just something to watch with this fridge. Just one little reminder, like I said, since we're talking about the fridge right now, is one thing we want to do if we're ever filling with propane or filling with diesel is we'll make sure that we've got our appliances off. Now we can either physically shut off each appliance, just go through and turn them off, turn off the fridge, turn off the water heater, turn off the furnace, or you can just go and turn off your main red disconnect button. It will actually turn off everything 12 volt and prevent any of those things from trying to light while you're filling any of those sources. So that's just a quick reminder to do that before you do any filling. Okay, so this is our table system here, like I said, which allows us to move it around, gives us lots of room to use as seating for the back here or in between the two ottomans on the side. Like I said, once you get it in place, they've got these little knobs here that allow you to lock them in place so that it won't move. Like I said, if you find that it's not tight enough, you can pull this out and it'll rotate the handle and give it a little bit more tension. Like I said, then the next thing you want to do is release that tension and the table will come off of the base. We'll slide this way. And then there's another handle on the side and the leg comes off. And it just slides onto the table base. And again, just give this a turn to lock it in place. And then this goes into the closet and we can get our boards for making up our bed here. So above the TV here, we have another monitor panel. Same controls as the one in the front. So we'll go to the mechanical controls. And again, we've got our sofa. So we're going to extend our sofa out here and put it in the down position. And then once we've done that, then we take our cushions off one side here So flip them up. Then we get our boards. And they just slide in between here. And then our cushions can go back. And then these back cushions just slide in between. And now we've got our bed made up. Now you can travel with it in the down position like this. Like I said, if you want to have the bed made up so that when you get to your destination, you're ready to go. And it allows you to still have access to your full kitchen, bathroom, and you can use the front seating area as your main area as well. So on each back window, we have a roller blind. Like I said, we just pull it down and let it stop. And then you push it back, and it's got a couple of magnetic catches, one on each end, to help hold it tight against the window and give you some nice darkening for when you're out camping. So now we're at the back of the unit. We've done on the driver's side, we've removed the cushions above the Ottoman, and this allows us access to some of the electrical inside the unit. This gives us our load center. Like I said, it's great for our service techs out in the road. Like I said, so that they know what to look for. And then we've got a little access panel here that gives us access to the manual controls for our Truma water heater and furnace, and then our remotes. A couple of breakers here to help protect our system for the generator power and for our 80 amp charge disconnect, all right in here. We've got a couple of little fuses here for the clock on your monitors, giving it power. Just mainly access for service techs so that we can check, if there's a problem with your unit, we have nice easy access to some of the stuff in the back here. Close that up. And then around the front of the unit here, we've got our breaker panel. This allows us access to like our household breakers, all our 110. This controls our outlets, our microwave, our induction cooktop, everything right in here. So if you're having problems with an individual appliance, you can come check and make sure that a breaker hasn't tripped here. Then beside this, we've got our GFI. This is the one I was talking about earlier that controls all the other outlets in the units. All the ones in the kitchens, the bathroom, and the outside plug are controlled by this outlet. What happens is this will trip, little red light will come on, and now none of those outlets are working on the unit. So all you have to do is come back, reset that. We now have all our plugs working again. Now you'll see there's another one beside it there without the actual plugs. This is a GFI for our fridge. They said so that if there's a power surge or something to the fridge, this will protect the 110 system on the fridge as well. Now below that, we have our carbon monoxide propane detector. This is connected directly into our battery, so as long as our battery disconnect is on, this is on, protecting our unit from any of those sources as well. We're going to move up to the cupboard just above this, right above the television here. We've got access to 2 more GFIs. One for our induction cooktop, one for our microwave. Again, like I said, if one of those has a power surge or something, it will trip this breaker just to protect this the appliance. And you, again, just like the other one, you'll see the little red light on, and you can reset it like that, and your appliance will come back on as long as it hasn't done any serious damage. Now above that, we have our antenna for our television system. This is a Winegard self-tracking system. So when you get to a campground, turn it on with the little button on the left-hand side, and then just push the button on the right, and it will automatically go around looking for the nearest, the best signals it can find. Once you've done that, then you can go to your television, go into settings, and go channel search. And so once that's stopped, and it will look for any of the channels that are on that system. If you're still not finding some, you can manually use the little buttons on the bottom to go left and right and adjust it, and it will tell you how many channels it's finding. So you may find another spot in the system that gets you better channels, and then again do your channel search as well. All your plugins for your TV, your Blu-ray player, and your Bose sound system are all right here on this corner. So if you've lost power to them, come check your plugs here on this side as well. And then just below the countertop is your Blu-ray player here as well. It is wired directly into your television. All you have to do is go into your television, choose HDMI, and it will automatically send its signal directly to the television. Okay, let's talk about your Pleasureways power system. There are two different sources of power inside your Pleasureway unit, and that includes an AC source and a DC source. DC, direct current, being your battery source, which supplies power directly to things like your USB ports, your LED lighting, your furnace motor and ignition, your water heater ignition. The second source is an AC source. This does things like your microwave, your induction cooktop, your air conditioner, and all your outlets inside your unit. For a complete list of all the AC or DC appliances in your unit, just check your manual. Like I said, there's a complete list included in there. When we're talking about AC source, there are three different ways to get AC power in your unit. The first being, of course, shore power, which is your plug-in that plugs into the side of the unit, plugs into a wall or a power box at the campground, and sends power just like your house would use. The second option is to get power through your generator, which will be propane, to supply onboard power from the generator into your unit. And the third is inverter power. Now this takes your DC, your batteries, and changes that DC power into AC power, then supplies that AC power out to all the outlets and stuff I was talking about earlier. Now, to figure out when's the best time to use these three power sources, if you've got access to full-time power at your campsite, shore power is always your best option for using AC power. Now, if you're dry camping, say a parking lot or away from power, and you've got full battery power, your inverter is your best option. It will supply your power. Now, if your batteries are low and you're still away from power source, then we want to use your generator, because your generator will supply your power and will charge your batteries at the same time. All right, so your Pleasureway unit comes with a 30 amp 110 power cord. It is a 3-prong plug like such, and this allows you to run everything inside your unit, from air conditioner to induction cooktops to microwaves, whatever your unit comes with, this will run it. Now, we also have an adapter from 30 amp down to 15 amp. This allows you to plug in to a household outlet and will give you the ability to run pretty much everything in your unit except for the air conditioner. The air conditioner needs over 25 amps in order to start up. So like I said, this will not be enough to run that system. Now, one little caveat is there is such a thing as 30 amp 220. This will stick into it. If you plug it into that though, it will fry everything 110 in your unit. So just be careful. Most campgrounds are all 110. Most house outlets are all run to 110. But every once in a while you'll find somebody who's run their own one and wired it into 220. So just make sure before you hook up your system that you are hooked up to 110. So if a DC source has stopped working in your unit or tripped because of a short or something like that, your DC supply will automatically reset the breaker for each one of those circuits in the unit. On your G12 on your control panel, if you notice that one of the little blue lights beside an appliance is on, indicating that the appliance should be working and it is not, you'll want to go to the driver's side rear Ottoman and check your 50 amp disconnect breaker. It may have tripped. You may need to reset it. Once you reset it, that will now allow the power to flow through to all your appliances again. If your AC source has tripped because of a power surge or something like that, you have to go to your main breaker panel, check your breakers just like in your house, and if one is tripped, you just push it down, flip it back up, and that will reset your breaker and restart that circuit. So just a quick troubleshooting tip on your Pleasureway van's Awning generator. There are a couple of breakers on your generator system that control the power for it. So one is under the driver's side rear Ottoman. It's an 80 amp reset breaker, and this controls the 12 volt power going to your generator. So check this if your generator is not starting. Now, if your generator starts and you're still not getting 110 power inside the unit, on the generator just inside the door, there's a little reset breaker. Just like on your main breaker system, it's just a quick flip up and down. Flip it up and that'll allow the power to flow out of your generator. All right, so for generator maintenance, we recommend that you run your generator once a month for 30 minutes on half a load. So if you're putting your unit away for storage, you want to make sure that you have a full propane tank in order to be able to run your generator for maintenance during the winter. When you're going to run your generator for maintenance in the winter, you want to make sure that your batteries are at 100% charge, or that the temperature is above 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit before you start running your generator. So when you're trying to heat up your batteries before running your generator, the easiest way to do it is to open up the battery box and run your furnace. That'll help heat your battery compartment up faster before you start running your generator. To run your generator on half load, the easiest way is to use about a 1,000-watt little heater or hairdryer in order to help bring up that load for that half-hour run. All right, so now we're at our bathroom here. Like I said, on our left-hand side here, we've got our sink and our shower head just pulls out. Our shower drain is just mounted in the floor in front of the toilet here. So toilet on the right-hand side, like I said, has a foot flush feature. Like I said, just here, we just give this push down. That allows water to come into the bowl, and also, like I said, for the valve to open up and allow any of the waste to go into the black tank. Now, when you first start off, you want to make sure you're putting toilet chemical down into that. You flush it down, drop some of the chemical down, add a little bit of water to your tank. That'll create a slurry in the tank that'll help break down any solid waste. The other thing you want to make sure is that don't drain the main drain outside until you're seeing the tank at a little over half at least. I would say usually waiting till it's closer to 75% before you drain it down. Like I said, otherwise what you end up is you lose the moisture, and like I said, the solid doesn't go down as well unless you've got it, the tank fuller. So even if you want to drain it down, what I recommend is open it up with your water still in your tank and fill it up even just with some water. That'll help wash out your tank and help it maintain its sensors and stuff on the unit as well. All right, and then again, like I said, making sure that when we're winterizing that we flush the toilet until we see pink in the toilet, run the sinks, hot, cold tap, and then run the shower head itself separately to make sure that we've got pink antifreeze flowing through each of those points. All right, so below our closet here, we've got our water heater access for when we're starting to winterize the unit. So we just pop this panel off here, and then just on our right-hand side, we've got our valves for our water heater. Okay, so we've got our 3 valves. Right at the very top in the red line, we have our hot line. Right now it's in winter mode, so it's shut off. Now below it, you may not be able to see it, is a white line. That's our recirculating line. It is also shut off. It's in the same position as the red line. Now in the middle, there is a red and blue line connected to one valve. It is open. That is our winterizing valve. And then on the very bottom, there is a blue line. It is in the off position, and that is our cold line input. So right now we're in winter mode. Now each of these valves turns a quarter turn to summarize the unit. So right now we're in winter mode. This is where we leave it so that we can pump antifreeze through the system. This is the most important thing we want to make sure we do before we start pumping antifreeze through the system, so that that antifreeze does not get into the water heater. All right, so for the winterizing, now that we've got the water out of the system, like I said, the next thing we want to do is get at the water pump. So we need to remove this lower door here. So I said something actually to mention is they said each one of these doors has these little releases here. You pull it out, release those, and the doors will easily pop back out. And then when you put it back on, you just slide the base up and it locks in place on each of these. We've got our water pump. So on this side, you'll see a filter. We disconnect this side of the pump and get a little extension hose, screws back on here, and that goes into a jug of antifreeze. So now that you've got it hooked up to the antifreeze, then you just follow your Pleasureway manual to continue to pump the antifreeze through all the rest of your system. Okay, so that's the walkthrough for your Pleasureway Plateau units, the FL and the TS. For any further questions, please contact your local Pleasureway dealer or reference your manual.